Hi there. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Jane Foy, and this is Aging Well in Virginia. Today, we're going to talk about money, specifically enough money to retire on. Scott Solak is a financial advisor for Edward Jones here in Charlottesville, and he is going to help us understand the challenges and the risks as we head into retirement. Scott, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Jane. Thanks for having me.
In terms of good news, bad news, all right? Let's start with what might be the bad news, and that is the risks involved in funds for retirement. So what are they?
Sure. Happy to run through a few of those. So one of the main risks for folks in retirement, and something they tend to worry about, is outliving their assets, right? Running out of money and they're still here. So it's also a double-edged sword. Perhaps folks are too conservative because of their increased worry around running out of money in retirement, and they don't spend money enriching their lifestyle, maybe traveling or spending money to do fun things with their children or grandchildren, leaving some money behind for charitable causes. So it's really important to find the balance, making sure that you're appropriately conservative in your assumptions around having enough assets to last your lifetime, but also enjoying the resources that you have likely worked a long time to save. So that's one of the major risks and challenges for folks. Something that's been driving that recently is our increased rates of inflation. Inflation was not really on a lot of folks' radar for many years, very low, 1.5%, 2%, and then COVID hit. During the pandemic, we saw inflation rates shoot up to high single digits, 7, 8, 9%, before they've finally receded. They're certainly in a better place than they were, but they're still at elevated levels, 3 to 4% we've seen most recently. So just to provide some context around inflation and why it's important, if inflation averages 2%, your purchasing power will be cut in half in 35 years. If at 3%, it will be cut in half in 24 years. At 4%, your purchasing power will be cut in half in only 18 years.
Inflation doesn't stay at the same percentage year after year after year. So how do you somehow balance that out?
Yeah, so those figures I were quoting would be if it was averaging that particular rate. So this is something else that's causing worry for retirees. They are seeing higher than what they had experienced levels of inflation around healthcare, around food, around gasoline for travel. So this is something else that is different than it was in the past, and that is causing some angst among those who are retired.
Okay, the one thing that is always on the chopping block, it seems, is Social Security. I think that worries those of us who are retired a whole lot. And so what do we do about that? The risk of Social Security being cut or changed or whatever.
Sure, that's a great point, Jane. And unfortunately, there have been some headlines in the news recently. Some studies have been done around the Social Security resources potentially not being fully funded in 2033. That's not that far off. There's talk about what would need to happen if our administration does not act. So that is a legitimate worry that potentially benefits would be reduced. So between having the appropriate level of resources, inflation, reduction potentially of Social Security benefits, there are things that have retirees worried these days.
All right, let's do the good news then. So how can we ameliorate, maybe not fix, but ameliorate the challenges? What can we do to help ourselves?
Sure. That's what myself and many other, financial advisors are here for. It's to be able to help people to navigate through those risks and challenges and able to understand, are they on the right track? Hope is not a plan. You really do need to have a formal plan, an understanding around what are your assets, what are your income streams, what are your likely expenses in retirement, and are you set up for success? And there's plenty of resources available for folks to be able to take advantage of. And if they want guidance and support, that's what myself and other financial advisors that they may be able to find are here for. So when the planning starts, folks will see that there are many variables, and it's the variables that can create the uncertainty. So some examples. For folks that have money saved off in an individual retirement account, there's two main types. A traditional IRA is an account that you funded with pre-tax dollars. They will be taxed when you make withdrawals. There's also required minimum distributions when you must start taking money out of that account in the year you turn age 73. The other main type of retirement account is a Roth IRA. Those accounts are funded with after-tax dollars, and as certain conditions are met, you can make withdrawals without paying taxes. There's also not required minimum distributions in a Roth IRA like there are with the traditional IRA. So it's important to understand, where are your resources? What are the implications for taxes or potentially penalties when you're making your distributions out of those accounts to fund your expenses in retirement?
When you say you have to make a withdrawal.
So a traditional IRA have what's called RMDs, required minimum distributions.
Okay, so you have to start taking money out. You don't have to take it all out. What is it, like monthly, yearly?
So on a yearly basis, there's a certain minimum level that you must start taking distributions from that traditional IRA. And it can be more, but you have to at least meet the minimum in a particular year. And there's tables which essentially are based upon life expectancy and other factors.
What do most people do when they withdraw a certain amount? Reinvest it? Spend it? I mean, what is the average action?
It's tough to say there's an average. For some folks who really need to rely upon that income stream to fund their expenses and lifestyle and retirement, it may get spent. For others who have a larger base of resources and don't necessarily need that money for expenses, they could potentially reinvest it in a non-retirement account.
Let's talk about the age parameters around Social Security. 62, 63, 65, 67, 70 kind of gets confusing. How does that work?
Sure. That's a great question. So the full retirement age for Social Security benefits is currently 67 years of age. That is the age at which you can start drawing your Social Security benefits, and they're considered a full payout. You may start taking them at age 62, but the benefits will be reduced significantly. You can delay taking benefits until age 70, and then they will increase beyond what you would have received at age 67. So differences in when you're taking your Social Security payouts and other items we've discussed, such as understanding where your assets are, the type of retirement accounts, the implications for tax purposes, whether or not you need to make those withdrawals. All of these are items that an advisor can help you to understand and start to take a look at what makes the most sense for your personal situation.
All right, so you have a plan of action. You have like in many cases, you need some advice. So you have an advisor, you have a plan of action. Now, who should know about that? Is that something that should be included in your will? Should your attorney know about it? Should your kids? Who should you share this information with?
Sure. It's really important for folks to have conversations with trusted contacts. Certainly that could be family members, children, friends, but it's really important that those conversations are had so that everyone's on the same page around what your wishes are as you're living through retirement. Where would you like to live? What are some of the activities that are important to you that you would like to be able to maintain as part of your retirement lifestyle? And certainly with tax advisors or legal advisors, to let them know if you do have someone that's helping you navigate your finances in retirement, that they're connected, that they understand that they can work together and a comprehensive plan to make sure that you stay on track, as well as minimizing tax impacts, as well as making sure that all of your needs from a legal standpoint are incorporated in the planning as well.
Now, I mean, you're a financial advisor, not an attorney, but if I had a plan with you when we had a set of goals and we were working toward those goals, and I happened to pass away, should that information be given in my will as to who adjudicates that? Is it the executor? I mean, are you contacted immediately after by the executor, and then they follow that plan, or they have the ability to buy or sell or whatever?
Sure. It goes back to your original question, right? Who should be informed about the plans that are in place? And it's your trusted contact, whether that's family or friends, the executor of an estate, right? Those folks should know, if you're working with a financial advisor, who they are and how to contact them, as well as other professionals such as tax advisors or attorneys.
Okay. Now, one last question, and this is about your industry, about being a financial advisor. You meet with a client or clients, a husband and wife, or an individual, and learn about their situation. And so how much time do you spend with them? Do you see them initially, and then you're in contact once a month, every other month, by phone? How do you communicate with your clients?
Sure. We really let the client provide input into driving the level of engagement. I mean, certainly we are here to provide whatever time and energy that they need. It's really important to make sure that the clients are heard, and if they have questions or concerns, that we are addressing them, making sure that they understand everything that they need to around their financial situation.
So somebody could call you twice a week, or you could not hear from someone for a month. Depends on the client.
Depends upon
or their need for support.
Exactly, but it really depends upon that need. We're here to answer questions, provide guidance and support. It's a relationship. It's not transactional. It's making sure that our clients learn, understand, and take comfort in their financial plan.
And have a plan. Scott, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure.
You have imparted a great deal of information, which I'm very grateful for. Scott can be reached at edwardjones.com/Scott-Solak, or his information is also available in the description below. This has been Aging Well in Virginia. Thanks for being with us. See you next time.